When I start, I just have a general, I try to think about the personality of the character, or like the feeling that I want to convey, like, because I feel like you should react to something, like you look at a guy and you go like, oh, I bet that guy's like a wisecracking funny guy, because just the way he's standing and his smirk, whatever. Or like, oh, he's really secretive and like, I bet he doesn't talk because he just looks really stoic and whatever. It's like, if it's like a story character that's gonna have like cutscene stuff associated with it, I'll usually do like the bust, like the head, just the face first. I don't know why. For some reason, it like helps me kind of like associate myself with the character, because it's like, all right, I know I want this head with these expressions and all this stuff. I feel like if I don't know what the guy's face looks like, I just can't see the character. Yeah, so when I start out, I usually start really loose, and it's like pretty scribbly. I end up cleaning up a lot of it in Photoshop afterwards, so my stuff used to be a lot tighter before I started working in games. And this will be a shot of death. One cool thing about him is he doesn't have a face, so I can do it pretty quickly. I have so much stuff that I'm getting paid for that I should be working on, that if I'm going to be drawing, I need to work on one of those things, you know, knock them off my schedule. I just don't really have time to do stuff for fun anymore, sadly. We have sketch groups and stuff once in a while. I'll do stuff like that occasionally. Not as regularly as I would like to. I used to have a sketchbook and stuff that I brought with me everywhere, but yeah, those days are gone, unfortunately. You know, I end up, you know, just through giving feedback and stuff like that, you know, I think they'll pick up stuff here and there. I actually learn a lot from what they're doing too. I mean, we have some really good artists, and they approach things totally differently. I'm like kind of old school, so I don't know. I have a lot of like tricks that I like to do, and they just, I don't know, they don't have their tricks yet. They just kind of muscle through it. You know, I have certain like faces that I do, and like, you know, certain poses that I like. If you're winding back a weapon, there's like just like an optimal position for it to be in, you know, and you know, like a certain stance that you put your legs in, and I just kind of favor certain ones, and I'll just do them over and over. So I'll get kind of tired of seeing my own stuff after a while, but that's good though, because then I just eventually come up with something new. But I just get excited about seeing what other artists come up with. When I do comic book stuff, there's certain genres that I just don't think my style would lend itself to. My style's a little more exaggerated and cartoony. Not super cartoony, but it's toward that. So if I were gonna do like a dark book that was like drama, heavy drama, or like a horror book like zombies, or like, I love westerns. I would love to do a western comic, but my stuff's not really like gritty enough for something like that. I don't know. I would still try it. I mean, I would figure out a way to adapt it, but I definitely I'm more of like a mainstream superhero type guy. Like, that's what my sensibilities are. So I think that's why I've always loved working for Marvel. And even the fantasy book I did for a while, Battle Chasers, it was fantasy, but it kind of felt like a superhero comic book, which is why I think people liked it. People that had followed my work before on X-Men and stuff were like, okay, I can buy this fantasy comic. It kind of feels like X-Men still. Oh crap. And occasionally I race too. The Darksider stuff is cool because it's a little more, I think I started to go like really into like manga influence a few years ago, and it was very like anime and you know, influenced by Japanese video games and anime and stuff like that. And I think having worked on Battle Chasers for a while, over the last few years, people have noticed my style getting a little more Americanized, or whatever. It's such a weird term, I don't know, but however you want to say it, I guess the manga influence has like slowly gone away. But I think the action and the poses and stuff like that still are there, so it's kind of a cool hybrid. I'm happy with it anyway. It's kind of influenced the comic stuff that I do now, so I kind of hate him having pupils. I'm going to erase these. Put some cracks on there. It's like such a pain, like how long games take to make. You know, we have so many ideas. We'll never get to them all if we keep spending years on a game, you know, so we have to like either do some smaller projects or just get faster so we can blast through them. Wow, I really hope this like looks good on camera, because I don't know. I feel like I'm working extra slow now. Like all nervous. I'm not this slow, I swear. I'm not like completely disgusted by my X-Men stuff, but I am by most of it. There's some stuff that I still kind of appreciate, but mostly I did not like my X-Men stuff at all. And anything before that, no way. I don't even look at it. I just improved. Like, it just looks really, really amateurish when I look at it now. And it's almost hard to believe that they offered me work. But so whenever people bring it by at comic shows to sign and stuff, I'm like, oh God, I forgot I did this thing. Like the Deadpool stuff, and there was some issues of Excalibur I did. I was just too young. I started really young too. I didn't know what I was doing. So, but after that, after X-Men, I like that stuff. Some of the Battle Chaser stuff I'm still pretty proud of to this day. I don't even think I could do some of it better today than I did back then. And then some of it is like, I would have done that differently. I actually re-released the Battle Chasers hardcover recently, and it had a new cover and a poster in there, and just, I had a hard time doing those characters again because I concepted them so long ago, and I kind of hate certain choices I made with them now. I kind of wanted to redesign them when I was drawing them recently, so that was kind of funny because I always thought I loved the way they look, but I guess I don't. I mean, right now I'm just like more production minded, and I think about the execution more, and it's like I purposely won't do something a certain way, even if aesthetically I would like it. If I don't feel like we can execute it well in the game, I just won't even do it. And so, you know, when I'm drawing comic book stuff, obviously it doesn't matter because whatever I draw is what gets published in the book. But for the game stuff, I used to not care if we could execute it or not. I just wanted to do a cool drawing and let people struggle with trying to make it. You know, it's like, hey, whatever, that's what I drew. But now it's like, just being in development for so long, you just kind of know what's not going to work, and that kind of just drives everything I do now. So everything comes back to RPGs with me, and so it's like, you know, I think of every character as like a class archetype, you know, and like in RPGs or whatever, I almost never play a warrior. I'm always a rogue, like always, or an assassin, like that type of guy. And so War is cool, but he's just like a big dumb warrior guy, you know. And Death's more my style. He's a little more aggressive and a little more agile and stealthy. Like, I always like speed over strength. That's why I favor like Spidey to like Superman or the Hulk or whatever. I like fast characters, so yeah, it would be cool to work on Fury because she's, you know, the female horseman, and I just don't think we have enough female characters in the Darksiders universe, to be honest. And it's kind of cool that we like change the people's expectations of who the horsemen are and stuff like that. And she's probably the most drastic one because, you know, she's a woman, so that's going to be really fun. I think people just psychologically like masked characters for some reason, you know? It's like, you know, in G.I. Joe, everyone likes Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, come on, you know? And, I don't know, everyone loves Boba Fett, even though he doesn't say anything. There's just something kind of cool about like the mysterious masked characters. You don't know what their face looks like. And we thought about revealing it, but it's kind of like, you know, Darth Vader was so cool, and then when he took off his mask, I was like, ew, that's what he looks like under there? Some like weird old guy with like rotten flesh. Ugh, I would kind of wish I had never seen that, you know? And so that's kind of what we're doing with Death. We're just never going to show it. Because I think people don't really need to know what's under there. And it's kind of better if you don't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's put some weapons on his back. I never work with these pencils, by the way. I have like my special mechanical pencil that I use. I haven't worked with these since I was like a kid. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much Death. Put some crows in the background. Crows look cool. Oh, and a moon in the background.